So I have a question. What's the point in buying a PlayStation when I can play their games on PC? This is a genuine question, and I'm forcing what I think is the reality upon those who have, in a sense, claimed that you don't need to buy an Xbox system because you can get their games on PC. Now, those who would say, well, all their games are coming to PlayStation, well, that's not entirely true because we don't have confirmation. And some of those games, according to Phil, in his interview with, I think it was either Destin or the gentleman that was doing the interview with Paris, he talked about games that have already been launched that are not going to be ported to the PlayStation platform. The second layer to this is, if you actually consider and think about it, the only reason you'll see Xbox port their games to PlayStation is when the game is not doing satisfactory sales. However, if it is, then you can almost guarantee that it's going to stay on Xbox because it has met its goals, its sales target, and it will have longevity of sales. Or maybe there might be some extenuating circumstances. Maybe they've milked it dry, and then they decided they're going to send it to other platforms. I think this reality has to right now be placed on everybody in an equal way. It has to be realized that these games that PlayStation had been bringing to PC were very much enjoyed. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, PC gamers did not like nor did they buy these PlayStation games. However, when PlayStation saw that, we have an opportunity here, they decided that they were going to try to strong arm the PC base. That did not work. Xbox already kind of knew what the heck was going on. So when they came here pretty much begging, I would say on their knees, because PlayStation was bludgeoning them in the PlayStation 4 generation. So they showed up, they started to make these games, they started to drop them on here, and people decided, yeah, you know what? We'll vibe with you and we'll buy your games if they're good. And people bought their games. They made it into the top seller list and so on and so forth. And PlayStation also made it into those top seller lists as well. The moment they brought out Helldivers 2 and they saw more sales, they saw more engagement, they thought, man, we could probably capitalize upon this, add more of our console-like restrictions. But that did not necessarily work out because now we know that as PlayStation is, pretty much doing its marketing and such for Marvel Spider-Man 2, they've already gone ahead to remove that PlayStation account requirement that was necessary to play this game. So whatever restrictions were there, PlayStation is no longer willing to put them. They're willing to give you a better version of the game. They're willing to give you a more optimized version of the game. They're willing to give you a likely less expensive version of the game at launch. And then at the end of the day, they might make it $70 here, but they're going to have to deal with people just looking and saying, well, maybe the market wants to pay $70, maybe the market doesn't. They're ready to give you the game with low spec hardware, GTX 1650, $100 GPU or less, i3 8100, and they're ready to make you and put the game and make it attractive to people to buy. So again, I asked the question, what need does anybody have to actually buy a PlayStation 5 when you can get a PC that's going to do everything, even more, give you access to other games day one? Even if you have to wait for the PlayStation games, you're not going to wait for all of them because some of them are going to show up at your doorstep immediately they launch. And while you may be, if you are anticipating any of them, waiting, you can be playing other games. I wanted to force this particular proposition because it's, like I said, I want everybody to think about exactly what the console business now looks like. I'm not dogging on you. I know if you're a PlayStation fan and if you consider it, a special platform, my intention was not to rag on your platform. Instead, I was here to pretty much take a logical outworking of a statement that I've seen made by PlayStation fans about Xbox and showing them that they are in a similar predicament, not the same, similar as Xbox. And by, some of their games are in the exact same predicament as Xbox launching on PC day one. The examples of those we've pretty much seen in these last few days. Lego Horizon Adventures, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, Until Dawn Remake, and the live service games Helldivers 2 and Concord. So what is the proposition that a console should have that makes it attractive? Because exclusives don't seem to be it. Because PlayStation is looking now and saying, we have a limited base of people that will buy a PlayStation. Even though we beat on Xbox back in the Xbox One generation, they still managed to escape with 30 plus million people that would buy their console in the Series S and Series X generation. And then some people are still sitting on the Xbox One consoles as well and do not necessarily want to leave. Many of them are on Game Pass and such. So how do we go ahead and get people to do this? Well, one way is to reduce support for the PlayStation 4. Just recently, PlayStation pretty much was telling, its PlayStation 4 users that there were some restrictions on, I think, PlayStation Plus that were going to be coming their way. Also, a game like Lego Horizon Adventures that I just pointed out skipped the PlayStation 4 and went to the Nintendo Switch. Anybody who is looking at this would already realize and say, wow, why are they doing this? Because the Nintendo Switch is a lower spec hardware than the PS4. It's not necessarily that. They just want to push people into the PS5 platform. And I think PlayStation doesn't have the right approach. I don't think they have the right approach. I think they can take a more consumer-friendly way, and that's going to open them up for more people to be receptive to them. Rather, now people are looking and saying, well, if I move up from the PS4 to the PS5, what all is going on? How am I going to be able to enjoy my games that I've played in the past? And then at the end of the day, what am I even benefiting? And if I don't even need to buy a PS5 and I can skip to the PC, there's another option for me. So the exclusives have never necessarily been, in this new, generation anyways, they've never necessarily been the deciding factor. They've never really been the attracting factor. If anything, you need more than that to be able to go out there and get audiences and customers to pretty much engage with your platform and your ecosystem. This, to me, is always what I've said, that you need to bring a value proposition that is way better than some exclusive game. Because again, not only is this Spider-Man game going over to PC and such, you're also seeing even the third-party exclusives that were money-hatted, they are making their way as well to the PC platform. So this is one of the reasons you're seeing that the PC platform provides this weird checkmate and says, this is what it is. And Steam doesn't wish to basically sit here and strong-arm its audience and its users. Instead, just willing to give them value. That is precisely why the ecosystem has thrived, especially in this more recent time. Yes, PC players have always been there, but Steam, even Epic Games, for their faults, for their shortcomings, GOG, for CD Projekt Red's shortcomings in some cases, have all decided a value proposition that is better than the regular console platform is where things are going. And with the saturation of the market, even more is this necessary for PlayStation to want to sell a console out there. Nintendo can get away with this. Nintendo is able to do this because their hardware is a natural, or nothing natural about it, but I guess I would say a default filter. A game like Rise of Ronin, they would have to sit there and crank and crank and crank and crank and crank to squeeze that game in there. Right? But they didn't do that. They didn't bother to do that anyways, not yet to my knowledge. They may be working on it, who knows? But I think we can now say this is the defining line. And with more and more movement to PC, PlayStation already pretty much has that in their back pocket, in their pipeline. And like I said, when it comes to day and date, they're already doing it on some games. So the message is now out there. The cat's now out of the bag. And all the while that they waited for PC players to come and buy their consoles, some PC players were still just adamant. They saw that these players would buy their games if they removed, the barrier. So basically what PlayStation is doing is PlayStation is giving you a discount to play their games. They're saying, we'll give you a $700 discount because, a PC, is better than, at any moment, your PC can become better than a PS5 Pro in terms of performance and such. So they're like, we're giving you a 700 and how much is that disk drive? The PS5 Pro is $700. The disk drive is $80. We're giving you an $800 discount to be able to play our games, the best version of our games, if we meet you where you are. If the market tilts and shifts any more than it already is, then I can almost say that they're more than likely going to start looking at any possibility that's out there. Because the new Nintendo Switch, the Switch 2, doesn't seem to be in that place where PlayStation might be interested in doing all that work to port its games to the Nintendo Switch 2. You never know. But if Nintendo Switch 2 provides, a platform for them, they'll go there. They'll, like I said, they will swallow their pride and go there. But they would, in many cases, not be easily moved to go to Xbox, even though they're going to Xbox. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, it needs some external circumstances to move them to go to Xbox. And I've started hearing that they're the ones publishing this game on Xbox this year. I'm not certain what's going on here. It used to be MLB that published it, but I don't know where people are getting that information from. If anybody knows, please let me know where you found that info from. I'm curious to see how and possibly why they decided to take on the publishing rights. Perhaps it got lucrative, if that's true. Thanks for watching the video. Think with me. Appreciate y'all. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.